Emergency. Noun. Plural. Emergencies. Countable. Uncountable. A sudden serious and dangerous event or situation which needs immediate action to deal with it. The government has declared a state of emergency following the earthquake. This door should only be used in an emergency. The emergency exit. To be used in an emergency. The government had to take emergency action. The pilot made an emergency landing in the field. I always have some extra cash with me for emergencies. The government has been granted emergency powers to deal with an emergency. Extra examples. Call this number if any unforeseen emergency should arise. Complete retention of urine constitutes a medical emergency. Don't call me unless it's a real emergency. Emergency admissions to hospital are given top priority. Emergency supplies of food have been flown to the area. He got emergency leave when his dad died. He missed the meeting because of a family emergency. I need to know what to do in an emergency. It's a disaster and a public health emergency in the making. Make sure your policy covers you in case of medical emergency. She told me to keep the money for emergencies. The ambulance crashed while answering an emergency call. The Army provided emergency cover when the ambulance service went on strike. The Assembly declared a national emergency. The emergency services are struggling to cope with the number of call-outs. The government imposed emergency law and suspended civil rights. The police have been given emergency powers to deal with the crisis. The president immediately declared a state of emergency. There's a fire blanket on the kitchen wall in case of emergencies. When a member of staff has a family emergency, a project could get delayed. Would you know what to do in an emergency situation? An emergency session of the United Nations. An emergency shutdown of the nuclear reactor. Firefighters on call to respond to emergencies. In times of national emergency. One of the busiest accident and emergency departments in Scotland. The New York Police and Fire and Emergency Responders. The closure of the hospital's accident and emergency department. The emergency evacuation of more than 300 passengers. I always have some extra cash with me for emergencies. The government has been granted emergency powers. There is an emergency exit on each side of the airplane. This door should only be used in an emergency.